I'm jealous of the dads or husbands that have the fit wives, because I see their motivation, or maybe even like obsessity, to a fault, obsession. How practically can I open that conversation up without offending her?
Dude, your whole life with her is an offense, and so I would say that ship has already sailed.
She's also very aware that maybe she is carrying excess body fat and maybe she wants to do something about it. But I can tell you the quickest way to make a woman shut down in that regard is to pressure her and make her feel like your love for her is conditional. Like, no way, bro. That is like the absolute worst thing that you can do.
My concern here is that we go into this conversation saying, I'm having a really hard time being attracted to you. And if she loves him, wants to save it, goes into turbo mode to earn his attraction, where she loses the weight, she gets whatever he wants. But because it wasn't for her and it's not about her anymore, now it's about surviving the marriage, it's not sustainable.
Hey there, I'm Leslie Hooper.
And I'm Steph Miramontes.
And today I am excited to touch on a delicate topic, one that I often see floating around Reddit. And I assume this is primarily seen on Reddit because Reddit tends to be anonymous. And it's a place where people can go and have their questions answered without revealing their identity. And so this is one I've seen a lot of. Chances are you might have felt this way yourself, but it's really going to be a clip from therapist John Delaney. Steph, feel free to correct me here.
I think Delaney, but I haven't watched any of his stuff yet, so I'm not sure.
So on this particular clip, he is speaking to a gentleman who is no longer sexually attracted to his wife after she has gained weight. And if you even look at the top comment in this particular video, the first thing you'll see is someone saying, this is my biggest fear, that my partner will no longer be attracted to me after having children. So I know that a lot of women fear this and might be dealing with this themselves. And so I just wanted to share this particular video clip for all of you who might have this concern, and just notice how thoughtful. And I think John Delaney gives really good advice here to this gentleman as well. But Steph, I want to invite you to react alongside me as we play this for our audience today.
Let's go to Nick in Orlando. What's up, Nick?
Hey, man. Hey, just enjoying life. How are you?
I'm giving that a shot too, man. I'm working on it. Life good?
Yeah. And life's good. It was great until you said millions of listeners, and then my heart dropped.
Hey, don't worry, man. There's like 17. I think we're up to like 26, if I'm being honest. There's 26 listeners or so.
I'm good with 26. That's fine.
Yeah, actually, I think it is in the millions, brother. So you're here, dude. So let's do it.
Yeah, might as well. Ultimately, my wife's body isn't what it used to be, and I want to talk to somebody about it.
Okay. Tell me. I'm trying not to make a face.
His facial expression right at the gate. Sensitive subject coming. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And
I know
for all the millions of people listening, I would like to just say it's been fun having this show. And
I know that's intentionally insensitive.
This will be the final episode. Okay, so tell me what's going on. How long you been married?
Yeah. So we've been married 10 years. We were an athletic couple dating in our early marriage, and just adding kids and jobs, that's just taking the back seat. And so I want your advice on having an open conversation. I know it's obvious. I know my wife's confidence has taken a toll. So I just want to help if I can, and hear your thoughts on it.
How have you tried to help already?
Early on, we tried a workout program together. I wasn't telling her certainly to go lose weight. We took a team effort, and I feel like I I held up my end of the bargain, and I felt like
I did want to stop here because I feel like this is the typical advice that people give their partner is doing a workout program together. And I totally get that that is a kind thing to do or to offer, or, a gentle way to go about approaching it. But also, she already knows that you want her to lose weight. She already knows how she feels in her body. There's got to be some kind of like tension underlying if he isn't already somewhat physical with her, or not as affectionate, or the intimacy isn't quite there in the way that it was. We know these things, we can feel these things. And so I just wanted to highlight how this seems like the 1.0 version of giving somebody like that you care about a kick in the ass to exercise. It's like, hey honey, why don't we do it together? And I think it's so see-through and obvious. I think and I guess I'll share more of my thoughts as we go through this, but I'm curious what you think, Steph.
Well, a few things came up for me. One being that at first he very much framed it as my wife's body's not what it used to be. Gosh darn it. And then the next thing is, I know her confidence has taken a hit and I just want to help as much as I can. Who are we helping? Just curious. Are we helping you to be more
Great
attractive to her by
point.
changing her, or are we helping her confidence? And I get it. Like, I'm going to be real nuanced here. I see both sides of this, but the way that he's framing it is kind of like, let me figure out how I can justify this in my mind as a her problem instead of a me problem. And then talking about the whole workout together thing, it's like, we started a workout program together. Has he been working out this whole time? Does his body look exactly the same as it did when he was an athlete in their younger years? Or has his body also changed in having kids and jobs and other priorities? Obviously not as much because he didn't carry those damn babies, but some probably, if they're starting this workout thing together. Sorry, you might have stayed leaner. You might not have gotten a soft, squishy belly from having pregnancies, but that didn't mean that you are still walking around athletic and jacked and fit looking. You probably just somewhat shifted to more of what society calls the dad bod or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen the whole video, so proceed, I guess.
All right, let's dive in.
like she dropped the ball and just wasn't motivated enough.
He's already beaten me to it. She dropped the ball and wasn't motivated enough.
But he held up his end.
He held up his end of the deal, dragging her to exercise.
And I wasn't going to be the jerk to keep her accountable, and that wasn't my role. And so
you were just the jerk that was going to walk around with a wife that you thought was a lazy bum. And
no. Anyway,
I mean,
so,
kind of.
Anyway,
So I'll start the whole conversation this way. You are allowed. You're allowed to do whatever you want to. I don't have 1 ounce, and I've got no problem with you being attracted to who and what you're attracted to. That's up to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna get any judgment from me. Like, there's no drinking the haterade on that one. Okay. The challenge here is the way you're framing this feels like, whether you meant to or not, you had conditions on an unconditional love relationship, and you found them. And this sounds like, yes, there's attraction issues, but it sounds like, I don't know many married couples who haven't experienced this. And the image attraction changes, but the total love in the household, the connectivity, all that stuff doesn't change.
sure.
And so when you say things like she dropped the ball, she screwed up, now you're getting into character issues. And my bigger concern is that what you are going to point your fingers at is, this is an attraction issue. This is she's put on 40 pounds or 50 pounds, and I don't think she's pretty anymore. She used to be a hot athlete and now she's not. Is cover for, it's real, it's true, you're less attracted to her, but it's cover for, I think my wife is lazy. I think she
Okay.
baited and switched me, and she's ripping me off.
Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, he's spot on. It becomes an attack on character unless in somewhere in the marriage vows it was stated that I will stay an athlete and figure out how to stay an athlete and keep my athletic body and all of the things while also allowing life to change. Because I don't know how old these folks were when they got married, but if you're in your early 20s and going to school and working out and in sports and all the things, and then you get into your 30s and 40s and you are running all the errands and doing all the things and managing the household, it is very difficult to stay on top of your fitness and your hobbies and the life that made you who you are. Not impossible, but it just makes me wonder if his thought is she's been lazy. How much support is she getting? Has she even expressed a desire to get back in shape, lose weight, get this hot body, whatever? And it's like, okay, well, what is it going to take to facilitate that for her if she has? Where is your role in this, man? Other than just to follow through on your workouts, you go, bro. But that's just not enough.
Well, also, the foundation of the relationship seems very superficial.
Yeah.
If she gains weight and suddenly, like, I understand the physical, but the way he's talking about her, there doesn't feel like there's any love lost. Like he still loves her, wants to be with her. There's kind of none of that language showing up yet. Maybe it'll come, but it just feels cold and like a very conditional, as he said, relationship, but also just an objectifying relationship. It's like if you don't look a certain kind of way, and look, I want to applaud this guy for even reaching out and acknowledging and taking responsibility and saying, this is a problem I want to fix. But so far, it's more like, how do I help her see the problem that she needs to fix instead of, the way that maybe John is starting to frame it here, where this is actually more about you than it is her. So let's see what he says here.
I gotcha.
I think I'm embarrassed when she wears certain things out in public because I have an image that I want to. Does that make you see what I'm saying? Tell me if I'm
Yeah.
I'm off or if I like. And here we're already in it, so just be honest. Tell me where you are there.
No, that all rings true.
Okay.
I don't think that she's lazy, and I think that she wishes she had more time and more effort or more self motivation to work out and to take care of things. Um, I I'm still processing, I guess. Um, I think that ultimately, I don't think that I've set that condition that you stated, but I don't think.
Here, let me say it this way: most people, unless you're a like just a truly evil person, you're a psychopath, or you're just like a lame like loser. Very few people look at their just for this example, their wife in this example, and say, "You've gained too much weight. You disgust me. I'm not I'm grossed out by you." Like that level of vitriol is rare. I don't say
Okay.
it's rare, but it's not common.
Sure.
What's way more common is your wife knows you don't think she's pretty anymore.
I gotcha.
You don't cut glances at her anymore. You don't give her hugs anymore. You keep the lights off. And so it creates an air that y'all are sharing. You're both breathing this, where
Yeah.
she might not be able to put her finger on it, but she knows you're out.
Gotcha.
And it's very, very hard to you can only be who you want to be when you've got a group of people supporting you, walking alongside you, that have your back. And only then can you rappel off the side and go do great and wonderful and crazy things. And that can be as little as, hey, I'm clearing the deck for you an hour a day, and not followed up with, so you can get some gym time in. It's, I'm going to clear an hour a day because I see how hard you're working and I love you more than life itself. And Mike, for the next 60 days, I'm going to give you an hour of your life back. I'm going to do all of bedtime. I'm going to do all the dishes. I'm going to come home with dinner. And you're thinking, I'm super busy. I work full time. That's what support and context feels like.
What are you thinking over there?
Well, that's exactly what I said, right? It's, hey, you need to take care of yourself and do all of these things, but are you the kind of partner that is creating that available space for her to do so. And sometimes it's less about having time to do it and more about, do I have time when I also have available energy? If you come in and, he kind of is suggesting doing bedtime and things like that, which is great. But I'll tell you right now, I am not going to the gym at 9 p.m. It is not happening. It's a hard no for me. I've been tired as hell by then. Like, I am done for the day. So I know that's not what he's suggesting. He's saying take an hour off her plate so that she can spend some time taking care of her own needs, mental, emotional, physical, whatever they are. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And again, he hasn't said how she spends her time and how he spends his time. So I don't know that he's not already doing some of this. I just know that weight loss is difficult and complex, and it's a very big topic. So is finding the time to exercise when you're raising kids. And I know we got some chest thumping, like people out there going, if I can do it, you can do it. And it's like, that's cool, bro. But your life and their life are not the same. Your emotional obstacles and their emotional obstacles are not the same. Even if yours are bigger and badder and better and all the things, and your story is more impressive, David Goggins, like whatever. I don't care. You are not that person. Every person has an individual set of beliefs, obstacles, whatever they have to overcome. So I just want to talk to his wife. I just want to be like, hey, listen, I got you. Let's have a real conversation and see what you really need and what you really want.
Right. And that's the challenge with this particular, I guess, conversation is we don't really get her perspective in any of this. Does she want to lose weight? Like, what does her day-to-day lifestyle look like? The reality is an hour of gym time isn't even going to cut it if you're an emotional eater and you're using food at the end of the night to relax, numb, check out, because that is, your version of self-care. There's not enough exercise in the world that's going to help you manage emotional eating. They are two separate things. It might get you out of the kitchen for an hour, but realistically speaking, there is a big part of this conversation that's missing, and it's her perspective, what she wants for herself, how she feels in this relationship, what she's even available for. Does she want to change, right? Like, anyway, let's continue here.
Yeah.
Not, hey, we need to get a workout program together, because she knows, right? She knows you don't like her, or she knows you don't think she's beautiful.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you don't think she's beautiful on both, like both physically and she's just not, she used to be doing this, but she's just not cutting it anymore. And I know that sounds so harsh to hear that out loud, but that's where we are, right?
Right.
So
are there any, I guess I'm looking for practical and sensitive ways to even talk about it. Is there anything to talk about? Or is this just simply a lead by example and just keep an open conversation with our kids about good and bad things to eat and taking care of our bodies. We've established that. Is there anything more I can do besides just opening time up through the day? And I can practice that. I can do that. Is there anything else I can add to that?
I think you need to do some really deep soul searching about whether you're in this marriage or not.
I gotcha.
And I can't tell you, man, more times than not. Do you have somebody else?
No, I don't.
Is there somebody that you work with that makes you smile and laugh a little bit more, or is it pretty hot?
No, I'm not. There's not a specific woman. There is obsessity is a new word.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay.
Just to a fault, and I don't want to swing that pendulum too far to where it's in an unhealthy habit. Just looking to improve all of us, I guess.
I think you need to be very honest with your wife.
Okay.
And I think the conversation is about you, not her.
Okay.
And I think the conversation begins with, I am struggling with physical attraction. I'm struggling with the fact that I've created a house where you're so exhausted and you're so fried and you're so out of gas that you've got no space. And that's on me.
So you're married. I've never been married. I've never had a partner come to me and tell me that they're less attracted to me or my body has changed or any of that. It's not something that I've been able to experience, but I'm not sure how I would handle that, to be totally honest. But I'm curious, Steph, from your perspective, having been in a marriage for over 20 years now, if because your background, your history, I'm familiar with how you are far more harsh than your husband ever has been remotely. But do you also feel like this would have been one of your biggest fears, or how would you have handled him coming to you and expressing this?
Depends on which version of me we're asking, but at my most vulnerable, it would have killed me. It would have absolutely reinforced every fear and nightmare and insecurity that I had. It terrified me. So yeah, that would have been really, really difficult to hear. And my concern here is that we go into this conversation saying, I'm having a really hard time being attracted to you. And her going into, like, if she loves him, wants to save it, whatever, goes into turbo mode to earn his attraction and does exactly what he was talking about and goes into a disordered path, an unsustainable path where she loses the weight, she gets whatever he wants. But because it wasn't for her and it's not about her anymore, now it's about survival and surviving the marriage and giving him what he needs. It's not sustainable. And it's not something that's going to be able to last. And she's going to feel worse about herself at the end of that shit than she ever feels today. And it makes me think about attraction and attraction to my partner, to Neffy. And, he and I are pretty different. I work out very consistently. He works out pretty sporadically. He's never had weight issues. I've always had weight issues my entire life. He's never had food issues. I always have. The contrast could not be more clear. And he has loved me through all of it. He has accepted me through all of it. And we've had tough conversations on the other side of those things, and where I have rapidly regained weight and, then gotten to a place where I was better and things were okay. And, we'd have talks about how he was feeling at that time. And it's just like, I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was going on with you. But it had nothing to do with attraction. And when I think about what attracts me to him, it reminds me of kind of the first of this conversation where he's like, she's lost so much confidence. And if she was an athlete before, athletics and things like that do tend to give you some confidence, a pat on the back. And if he's not seeing her achievements as a mother, as a housekeeper, as someone who meets all of his other needs so that he can go and have his work and his buddies and all the people he's jealous of, if he's not seeing that as an attractive quality, if he doesn't appreciate her and drop into desire from that place, because that is what she's contributing right now, that's the real problem. The size of her ass is not the problem. You can talk about like somebody's gained weight, it's less attractive, blah, blah, blah. But like Neffy is so smart and he figures things out. And that excites me. I'm always just like, man, he is so attractive. When he comes and tells me all of these things, it's very attractive to me. His brain is so attractive to me. How kind he is to other people, how much he helps other people, how much he has other people's back, so attractive to me. His willingness to just like try some shit, love it. Those are all the things that I'm terrible at. So it's so exciting to me. And the opposite is also true in our marriage. And I know this isn't about us, but from a married context, attraction isn't just about your body. Your body matters. And I get that. And I can appreciate that this is a very hard conversation to have. It's very difficult for him to admit it, I imagine, especially since social stigma says, man, you're a dick. She had her babies and now you're not attracted to her. What an asshole. But also kind of like, what an asshole. Because there's just so much more to it than that.
And I'm sorry that this is not the moment you go to and you've let yourself go and you're doing these things, then by God, she's got to defend herself.
Oh yeah.
By checking out of the conversation. And I guarantee you've got your issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
If I'm super honest, dude, there's something you're not telling me. There's something underneath this. And here's why. Like I said, every couple on earth goes through weight transitions and fluctuations, and you have kids and all hormones change and get busy at work. I've put on weight. I've worked with guy like during the book writing process, my eating has gotten bananas. And so I use it as a lifting phase, but I've put on some weight.
Mm,
Okay. I just have. It's a fluctuation. And so that's normal. It's a part of, you can see it. If you go look on thumbnails of my shows, you can see I've put weight on my face. Like I've just gained weight. And I'll go through another phase whenever I'm done and I'm back. So there's an ebb and flow to all relationships. There's something underneath this. What is it, man?
I don't know that there is.
So your wife
Oh,
is perfect in every way, and you love your life, you love your sex life, you love your intimacy life, you love laughing and playing. It's just she just isn't pretty anymore.
that's what I'm aware of. I don't know of something underlying, and there could be. I don't have that answer for you.
Okay.
I'll do that soul searching to find out, but I just don't know.
Okay. I think you need a season of repentance for with her for one
Okay.
big reason. She has gotten the message loud and clear. You don't like her. You don't
Something I wanted to touch on, and it might actually be this guy's circumstance at all, but is how maybe emotionally unintelligent or clueless, not even being aware or understanding desire or where this, is coming from. And I think it's just kind of highlights how sometimes we see even within our own clients, I don't see this as like, sex specific by any means, but just not understanding the underlying reasons for why we emotionally eat or why we do the things that we do. But there is always one. And I think that's what John is trying to poke at here is like, what is beneath this that's contributing to these thoughts and feelings? And he just doesn't get it yet. And that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people don't, but this could just as easily be him talking to somebody who feels out of control as a binge eater and them not really understanding the underlying reasons that might be contributing to it as well. Right. And so having that language, that education, that understanding changes everything. I mean, it's hard to fix a problem that you don't understand, let's be honest. So,
Yeah, having an emotional language and an understanding of how you operate from that place, no matter who you are, is huge. It's life-changing huge. And you should probably spend some time, Mr. Nick, on understanding your emotions and your feelings. And, I think he's kind of on the right track here with saying like there's something else beneath it. I just want to ask him, I'm like, what do you like about her? What do you admire about her? How much time do you spend letting her know how much you appreciate her and what she does? Because again, I don't know, like I'm imagining her as this really good wife and mother and caretaker. And he said we had kids and jobs and all the things. So clearly there were jobs involved as well. She works, she raises kids, she does all these things. And is she trying to get affection and attention from him? Is she grabbing his ass when he walks past the sink? And I'm not putting any of this on her. I'm just saying, like, he's assuming that she knows how much kind of contempt there is kind of brewing under the surface, and women know, like we just know. But is there anything happening kind of under the surface where she's looking for more attention, more connection, more appreciation, or is she shut down too? Because
yeah.
as confidence goes down, confidence is or lack of confidence is unattractive to people. Insecurity is unattractive. And when you're creating insecurity, and then that's what you get back out of the relationship, and now all of a sudden you're not attracted, it's like, and again, I can't put all this on him either. It's a one-sided story. I want them both in the room. Can I get them both in the room?
Well, also, if you feel rejected, assuming, hypothetically that she has made advances and he's just not into it. I mean, you're really only going to do that so many times, especially postpartum. And if this has been an ongoing issue, then like, like you said, she might be completely shut down at this point. I mean, frankly, some of this conversation might be too little too late. Who knows? But again, I do appreciate that he is looking for a solution that is healthy. So anyway, I'm not sure how much more of this we need to watch. Let's just see what else John has to say.
approve of her. And that's got to stop. Either that or you got to leave, man, because you're being cruel.
No, and
Right?
yeah, and it's all unspoken. I know that she senses that. I know that she's unhappy with where she's at too, and so I agree with you. How practically can I open that conversation up without offending her?
You're offending her by your whole life with her is an offense, and so I would say that ship has already sailed. There's going to be tears in this conversation. There's going to be frustration. She's going to be pissed off at you. Like all that's going to happen. So you can't avoid that. What you can do is speak about you and about what you're willing to do to create a world where she feels safe and feels loved and feels like her relationship with you isn't contingent on caloric intake.
Sure.
And only then can she say, I want to make some changes too. Like my buddy Sal DeStefano said, you can't hate your body into long-term change.
Right.
And you can't hate your wife into studying harder, or you can't hate your wife or be grossed out by your wife until she gets in better shape. That's a recipe for a nuclear explosion.
Understood.
Okay. And so do you see what I'm saying? Like this conversation is about you. Yes, it's going to be, you're gonna have to be honest. I'm struggling with attraction here. I'm also struggling with the fact that I've created a world where you don't feel safe anymore.
Yeah.
Also, you're going to have to make peace if she says, I think I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is how I am. And this is who I roll. Yes. I used to be a runner or a karate champion or whatever. That's not my world anymore. I got 2 little kids now. This is my world. Mm-hmm. And then you are going to have to look at her in the eye and say, I love you to the moon and back, or you got to go. Right.
Right.
Because you also got 2 little ones that you're teaching. Hey, by the way, this is what love looks like. And love looks like silence, or love looks like, ugh. Or love looks like, are you sure you want to have another bowl of ice cream, honey? Or why didn't you work out today? That's they're picking all that up, man. They're picking up all of it,
Yikes.
all of it. And as somebody who spent a lot of my life walking alongside people with disordered eating challenges, man, it's just a mess. You have to own the person you fell in love with, and that you looked in the eye and said, I'll be with you forever, no matter what. And attraction comes and goes, feelings come and go. That's part of it. But you're going to have to decide whether you love this woman or not. And you're going to have to plug in there. All other healing and weight loss and all that other stuff comes after. I'm not going anywhere. And I will love you for now and forever. That's the only platform long-term healing can.
Man, this is tough. This is a tough conversation because you really are filling in the blanks here. And I kind of have a feeling he has a little more context than we do. I would hope he has a little more context than we do, because it sounds like he's talking from that place and maybe making a lot of assumptions based on who he's talked to in the past. Yeah, I don't know. But as painful as it would be, I would want that conversation had with me. Like, hey, you're just not doing it for me. And I will also add this nuance, which is probably something we should talk about at another time too, in more depth, is that sex drive and attraction are not the same thing. And so someone who has a very high sex drive is probably going to come off as more attractive and really, I don't know, magnetizing that energy and inviting it and bringing it in your relationship. But if you are tired and raising kids and doing all the things, sex drive might be down, in addition to energy, and all of those kind of compile and compound. And so some of the lack of attraction might be coming from there as well. And so I think I share the point of there's probably some labor he could take off her plate, some support he could be offering that he's not offering, that he's not thinking about, that might give her a little bit more energy to get curious about all of this. But I also believe in seasons of life, and not every season of life is I'm going to get a an ass that you can bounce a quarter off of. Like, for sometimes that's just not the priority. And the minimum baseline here is like, I just want to be healthy and not die right now because I've got so much going on. You're lucky I got a glass of water and I could pee alone today. It depends on how young those kids are. It just depends.
Yeah, super complicated subject, but again, one that I see around the internet a lot, and always with the very surface level advice that he said he has taken already. He has tried a workout routine with his wife. She didn't seem too interested after a certain period of time. And chances are, she is very aware of his lack of attraction towards her, I would imagine. She's also very aware that maybe she is carrying excess body fat and maybe she wants to do something about it. But I can tell you the quickest way to make a woman shut down in that regard is to pressure her and make her feel like your love for her is conditional and based off of, as he indicated towards the end, how many calories, or passive aggressive comments. Are you sure you want to eat all that? Like, no way, bro. That is like the absolute worst thing that you can do.
We've had so many of our clients go through that, right? Our clients that know that their partners know they're in our program, they know they're trying to lose weight. And so they'll be like, hey, I thought you were doing weight loss. What are you doing eating ice cream? Not understanding a fucking thing about how we do our program and stuff like that. And so there is a barrier to overcome here, and the ability to learn how to communicate in a way that is loving and kind. But ultimately, the risk here, the biggest risk is, in my mind, setting her off on a weight loss path that is dangerous and unsustainable for her. And when I say dangerous, I mean dangerous to her self-worth, her self-esteem, her self-concept, her ability to genuinely love and like herself enough to take care of herself instead of earning an external source of love through attraction, as if the way you look is the only source of attraction. It's just, that's just so small.
But also it's rooted in fear. This is where we see our clients start secret eating, being afraid of being judged, and shoving those candy bar wrappers down at the bottom of their purse, or eating in their cars, or waiting for their partner to go to bed before they start to eat, because now they have this watchful eye, and the roles go from like parent to child, and that's not sexy or like attractive either. I don't know about y'all, but I've never felt any sexual attraction to somebody who is food policing me or treating me like I'm a child, looking down on me. I mean, is there a feeling that's more repulsive than that when it comes to sexual attraction? Probably not. Or weight loss motivation or whatever. So I did appreciate his comment about having the conversation and acknowledging that this is a you problem, not really a her problem. But like you said, I'd still want to know. I just don't know if there's coming back from that conversation, but maybe for her own sake, there doesn't need to be a coming back from the conversation. Maybe he can't get past it and she's better off without without him, I guess. So,
well, if the love is conditional like that, even if everything goes the way that he could possibly dream and hope, she gets it, he gets it, she changes, she loses weight. It's no different than society's pressure put on us to have a perfect body and feed us full of social media and all of these other things shoved down our throat that says this is the way to be. And if you're not this, you should always be striving to be this. And if you can't get this, then something is wrong with you. And therefore, it is always on borrowed emotional worthiness. You are saying, like, I need to earn my self-worth. And it is terrifying if I eat something or I do something or something happens to me, or God forbid, I have to be on medication, or I get in a car accident and break my leg, or what the fuck ever. And now all of a sudden I'm going to lose love for that? Are you kidding me? Like, now I'm unworthy? That's not it. That's just not the way to go about it. I get attraction matters. It so matters. And taking good care of yourself is attractive. That matters.
Yeah. And I think that there might be that psychological element as well, where like he isn't as attracted to her because her self-esteem, her confidence, whatever, has taken a hit. And she's not carrying herself in the same way. Like you said, somebody who does value, respect, and is living in alignment with honoring themselves, because she's in survival mode, not really thriving. And the other thing he said, and I don't know if you picked up on this, but it is the name of the body image course.
I did.
Very close.
Very similar.
Can't Hate Your Body Thin is the name of the body image course that has been created within our program, but similar messaging. And so I appreciate that we are very much on the same page as it relates to that. So anyway, thanks for watching it with me, Steph. Any final thoughts as we kind of wrap this up?
I would just love to hear everyone else's thoughts. I would love to hear what their experience is, and if they would want to know, or if they would hope that their partner would just go get some therapy and like keep it in their own brain, or how, maybe they offer a different perspective. I welcome all of it.
Yeah, I would really love to hear our audience's, our viewers' feedback on this particular topic. If they've had this challenge in their own relationships, if so, how did you handle it? But again, the best way that you can support us is by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends or a loved one, because this is such a common issue with women in particular. And I mean, obviously their partners as well, but I think it's just something that we keep hidden and we internalize and don't really talk about. And perhaps this could heal some people along the way. So that is it for us today. We will catch you all on the next one. Thanks.